Hello, Year 7, and welcome to Lesson 1, Light. So in this topic, we're going to look at light and learn about the key words. So for a starter today, if you're looking at the pictures below, can you point to the light sources or the sources of light in the picture below? And then, if you really want to challenge yourself, true or false, everything you see here has a connection to the sun. Okay, the three parts that were sources of light was the sun, the lamp, and the computer screen. And then the extension, if you got it right, was true because everything we did see there has a connection to the sun. The reason being, everything is brought into this classroom by humans who rely on plants to provide energy, and plants get their energy from the sun. So, today's learning outcomes for this lesson is to recall the differences between luminous and non-luminous, identify materials that transmit different levels of light, and then describe how light travels. So, light is emitted or given off by certain objects. It then reflects or bounces off other objects and is then absorbed by our eyes. So the computer screen you are seeing now is actually emitting light or giving off light, which is then being absorbed by your eyes. However, if you look at your keyboard, the light is being emitted by the computer screen and the lights in your room. It is then reflecting off the keyboard and then being absorbed by your eyes. So light travels in waves. However, not waves like we'd see if we went to the seaside. Light travels in straight lines. So, light travels incredibly quickly. In fact, it travels 300,000 kilometers per second. This is what's called the speed of light. So, going to look at our first learning objective, describing the differences between luminous and non-luminous. So an object that gives out light is described as luminous, like a light bulb. So luminous objects emit light. An object that does not give out light is therefore called non-luminous. Non-luminous objects reflect the light. So, can you have a go, please, and pause your video and try and sort the following different objects into luminous and non-luminous. Have a go now. Hopefully, you managed to pause your video and you managed to get the objects into the correct order and the correct table. Well done if you did. We're now going to move on to our second learning objective, identifying materials that transmit different levels of light. So, when you look through a window, like the window in your bedroom, the light is traveling through the glass and into your eye. That glass is transmitting the light. When light travels through glass or perspex, like the glass you drink from, or shallow water, most of the light goes through and only a small amount is absorbed. These are called transparent materials, and so you can see through them. In very deep water, however, most of the light is absorbed. If, for example, you look at the glass in your bathroom window, we obviously don't want people to look through that, so we use something like frosted glass, or if you're playing around with different art supplies, you might even use tissue paper. These are called translucent materials. So light can travel through them, but it gets scattered and broken up, so you can't see clearly through them. And then the last category of the objects is objects that are opaque. These are materials that do not transmit light at all. Opaque materials can produce shadows. So you can predict the size and shape of the shadow because the light travels in a straight line. So have a go and put your hand up to the light and then look at your shadow.
So what we're going to do is we're now going to show you a demo with some different materials, and then what you'll have an opportunity to do is doing a sorting activity to try and work out what material is in what category, whether it's opaque,